My name is Sonia Prophet, and I am in the graduate program for my master's at the University of the Cumberlands in Kentucky. I decided to do my research project about Lexia. I wanted to find out the facts behind Lexia to see if it was an important strategy that I should use with the students in my classroom. My research question was, what impact can 30 minutes daily on Lexia, which is a core reading on the computer program, have on my first grade students' reading skills? For my observation of this concept, I took my 20 students in my first grade class and I required them to complete at least 20 minutes of Lexia time daily over a 6-week period. Prior to the 6 weeks, I collected the data on the placement of my students within this program and the concepts they were working on. At my school, I decided to survey the first, second, and third grade teachers. There are 5 first grade, 5 second grade, and 6 third grade teachers that I sent these questions to. How many minutes on average do your students do of Lexia per day or per week? Is Lexia done with fidelity in your classroom? Do you feel Lexia helps your students and then they needed to explain why or why not? What do you as a teacher like about Lexia, and how do your students feel about Lexia? What would make Lexia better? And do you feel doing Lexia helps your students in the area of reading? The results of those surveyed said that most students received 20 to 30 minutes per day on Lexia. And for the most part, the first and second grade Lexia classes were done with fidelity, while the third grade struggled with fidelity because of other test questions and things that they needed to do to get ready for their standardized testing. The reasons that they liked for using Lexia were that the placement test at the beginning determines where the student should start. The program models the skills that the student is working on. There are 3 different ways that the computer models for the students, especially if they continue to miss the same questions. The reports that are generated about the students help the teachers form small groups to teach specific lessons on whatever those students are missing. Lexia keeps students actively engaged in a fun way while learning the essential skills needed for reading, and it works at the students' individual pace with repetition as needed. Teachers really enjoyed the ability to track the daily and weekly progress of their students, and the students really enjoyed the achievement certificates that they got as they completed each level. So for those of you who haven't heard about Lexia, let me tell you a little bit about the program. Lexia is a reading computerized program that provides phonics instruction and gives students independent practice in basic reading skills. Lexia reading is designed to supplement regular classroom instruction and is designed to support developmental skills in the 5 areas of reading instruction that are identified by the National Reading Panel. Lexia's mission is to promote the success of teachers and students as they work to master essential reading skills. Lexia reading achieves this goal in 3 main ways. They support the core instruction with independent reading skills practice. They prevent reading failure with at-risk students through repeated, intensive skill practice. And they remediate with extended practice for students experiencing reading failure while identifying specific instructional skills. So why choose Lexia? In numerous studies published in peer-reviewed journals, Lexia has been found to accelerate the development of critical foundational literacy skills in the early grades. And if you would like more information on that, the link is found right there. Key findings were that Lexia reading programs improved reading scores for students in preschool, elementary, and middle schools. The lowest performing students benefited the most from using Lexia reading, and Title I students using Lexia reading closed the reading gap after only 6 months of intervention. Lexia reading effectively supports students at all levels. Students reading above grade level can move to higher levels that contain more sophisticated and challenging skills, while students reading on grade level or below will work on strengthening grade level skills, and students in need of remediation will engage in intensive practice activities to help them establish a foundation for reading success. So you may be asking, is Lexia supported? As documented in a study published in 2006 in the Journal of Research Reading, Lexia supports literacy gains among at-risk elementary students. And also in that same journal, Title I students in the Lexia group made significantly greater gains than Title I students in a control group on the Gates-McGinty reading test. The efficacy of computer-based supplementary phonics programs for advancing reading skills in at-risk students is helped through the Lexia program as well. So what happened to those students after 6 weeks? Well, I analyzed the data, and after 6 weeks, the data collected shows a growth in student goals. Some students gained 1 new skill, while others gained up to 8 new skills in the 6 weeks period. After reviewing my data on my students, I decided to do some adjusting. The students with the lower growth, which are my struggling students, will be required to spend 30 minutes a day on Lexia to improve their overall growth, and more if I can find it in the time in the classroom. Time will still be set aside to work with teachers to master the skills needed to move them along in the program. Students who are on grade level will continue to have only 20 minutes daily. I hope that you found the facts about Lexia something that you may look into to be able to use in your classroom. The data, when I put it together, really was astounding for me. I was glad to see that they had made such gains over 6 weeks, and it also shows me which students I really need to work with a little more. Thank you. Have a great afternoon.